And at the moment, Arsenal's floating around a bit. Well, everyone's been floating around a bit this season. But still, I always think, you've got no problems. But in fact, they'll just have different problems. They'll say, we're not first, we're third, or we're fifth, or, oh God, we've lost contact with the top six. So I think Leicester changed all that, basically, because it was just 6 clubs going around playing each other. And the rest of us, the other 14 in the Premier League, and this the second place in a weird place, but yeah, it's good. It's kind of good that there's more mobility at the moment. So I'm going to be talking to the Band of Runners podcast, presented by Rob Cowlin. I was the 100 Marathon Club secretary. There we go. Have I talked to Rob before? Anyway, well, they feature ordinary individuals doing extraordinary things. There we go. So that will be at 1:30 for however long that is. Yeah. Do I need a pee? I do. Sorry, I'm going to go a quick pee because this could be a longer podcast. Quick pit stop, guys. Back.
It started with a box, and 2.8 million more just like it. Rations meant for war would now help those victimized by it. Passed from hand to hand, they moved together across land and sea, to a place where everything was broken, where everything had been lost. The box revealed its gift: food, survival, hope. The knowledge that someone, somewhere far away, wanted to help. Goodwill put into action, a world embraced, and yet only the beginning of the story. The need was bigger, deeper, more fundamental. It still is. A chronic absence of food and clean water. Hunger, starvation, desperation. Sickness that racks young and old, mounting pressure on communities already in distress. The ones who can change the world for the better, stripped of their gifts, every path blocked, and seemingly no way out. But as understanding of the problems grew, our simple box changed. It now turned to the roots of suffering, to empower those at the brink, life flowing back into communities, nourishment sustained, the seeds of hope planted. Communities freed from sickness, the good building on the good, powering the engines of change. The future we will all share, built on a simple truth. That when you give of yourself, you can be the difference in people's lives. You can help deliver lasting change. Its colors are different. Its mission has grown, but it's the same care package. The simple box that gives us all the power to change the world for good.
So we're live again. Gonna talk to the Band of Runners podcast. And and big hello to everyone on Zwift today. We're running at, sorry I haven't been chatting. Clive Finnenbach, I see you up there. Stephen Cousins, I see you up there. All the MHG guys. Great to see you. Now, yes, I am ready when you are ready, Ian. Hi there.
Good afternoon, Eddie. How are you?
I am good. How are you again?
Oh, it's lovely to see you again. Yeah, brilliant. Thank you very much. It's nice and sunny here. Sorry to say that. It's obviously quite dark where you are, but how are you doing? How far are you through?
I'm on 24, 25, marathon 20. I have to look behind me. I should look in the screen.
Blimey, don't fall over. So Eddie, obviously we chatted before.
Yes, hang on one second. Remind me of your first name. I'm sorry, so many names.
No, it's Rob Cowlin here
Rob.
from the Band of Runners podcast, and I'm here with my co-host Simon Staples, who you haven't met.
Where's
Both
Simon?
members. Simon will appear when he speaks.
I got you. He's
Simon.
on the...
Before I rudely forget to, so Simon's my co-host on the Band of Runners podcast. Simon and I are both members of the 100 Marathon Club, which I know you met some of the members
Oh,
of.
indeed. And I don't think I'm ever going to get in because of my feral way of doing marathons. But that's okay. I can admire you guys, and I can just tell everyone about the 100 Marathon Club. And that's it. I'll have to be a herald for you guys. That's what I'll be. I'll be a herald.
I'm sure we and our listeners can admire you, Eddie, but the reason I think we wanted to speak is because, as I mentioned to you last time, the Band of Runners podcast was founded on the basis that running is for literally everybody,
Yep.
whether you're fit and fast like Simon is, he's half my size, twice my speed, that's what I like to bill him as, a 3-hour marathon runner, or myself, a 6-hour marathon runner, so I enjoy more, or perhaps slightly slower than the pace you're doing now, you're starting to ramp up, but
Well,
as Simon said,
I
it'll be
think
more
you
about
and-
what we're about.
Rob, you and me, I think we're twinned on the pace. I think 6 hours is kind of where I'd like to come in because I think I could get faster, but, well, I like seeing things. I like stopping. I like talking to people.
But Eddie, sorry,
Yes.
good afternoon.
How are
You're
you?
not seeing much at the moment, are you? Are you stuck in a dark room? Is there even a window?
There is. Can we get Ian the camera on the window?
Yeah.
We can show you the window. So we have the blinds up. It'll appear any second. And there you go. You can see. We can see out. People can see in, and we can wave. And
Oh, nice.
And there's
Okay.
a pay station, and that is the walk, the Riverside Walk at Hammersmith for the Riverside Studios. And then you've got the Thames River and Hammersmith Bridge out there, and that's how. But it is mind-numbing on a treadmill. I don't know if you've done.
Yeah,
Huge
I've done one, but I've only ever done it in a race condition, and
Right.
it's so difficult doing that distance.
Yeah.
It's hot, sweaty.
Yeah.
If you get off the damn thing, what happens when you get back on?
Nothing much for me. What happens to you?
I've done one race on it.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to get off, so I didn't even allow myself to get off.
Okay.
So it's the world's first treadmill marathon race. Again, it didn't count for 100 Club purposes because of all the rules.
Right.
But there must be, I think there's about 15 of us all. But my strategy was quite simply don't get off, sweat it out, see it out. Took a lot of salt tablets, obviously it's inside, so it's really sweaty.
Right. Have you tried putting a fan on? You've got to put a fan on, that's the trick. No, it literally works. I've got one in front of me. You put a fan on, it just blows air, kind of like you're running. So just
Yeah,
try.
weren't allowed.
I wasn't allowed.
No. Well, we literally had the machines and that was it. So we were in the middle of a gym.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Oh, I got
How do you manage this? I mean, this is day 25. I mean, Rob and I have done quite a few multiple days. We've done nothing like this. Have you embedded a routine now?
Yeah, the routine is what you're looking at me and I'm looking at you, and I'm not actually running. When I'm talking to you, if you throw me a tricky question or you give an interesting answer or anything, or if Rob and I think, oh yes, I remember talking to Rob and Rob's story is fantastic, and you're doing 3-hour marathons. Is that roughly?
On a good day of the wind behind me, I'm at 2:52.
There you go, 2:52. So you slice me and Rob in half, and you're back in there. You've had 3-hour lunch by the time we get back.
Well, but speaking of slice half and lunch, Eddie, when Simon and I met, actually was the 10 in 10 day Easter event that we ran, where we did marathon distance. But Simon, bless him, stayed around for me on the last day. But what he couldn't understand is while he'd finished in about 3.5 hours on the last day, I just had to stop to have my sorine loaf and my thermos of coffee, which was my halfway ritual.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, because we've turned the tables this time, and I wanted to ask you a few questions. And I haven't seen you eat yet today. I have been watching, but do you eat when you take your little pit stops, or
Yeah,
do you just run through?
Well, I've got Sarah here, who's event manager. You might have seen Sarah Johnson here. We're in the same bubble, home bubble, work bubble, and so she'll give me little bits of carb thingy. What are they?
Yeah,
They're
like
delicious.
little carb. They're like SAS bakes, I think
The
they're called.
ba-
Go bakes, I think.
Go
So
bakes.
they're carb, and then the
And that's a
chocolate one
chocolate
is
protein bar.
Yeah.
And then we're sponsored by iProhydrate, and they give us these, and I alternate it with water. And yeah, that's what I eat. And I have porridge beforehand, but I've actually got so bored of porridge, I'm having difficulty getting it down me an hour before I run. So we're going to switch to granola.
We've got the go-ahead for granola, yes.
Yeah.
That all sounds very structured. I think if we are truly kindred spirits, Eddie, and we ever have the chance, God willing, to run together, we might have a halfway picnic at some point when things are allowed.
Well, it will be, because I am so weird with my, I have done two triathlons which were organised, and nobody knew me really. Well, maybe some people. I was in America, so you know I'm known in a slightly different way in America. But if I'm in Britain, people say, "You're that marathon person. Go on then, go on," and they kind of encourage me to speed up in a way, which is wonderful of them. But I'm not fast, so I need to go at this speed, and so I find doing my own marathons just really nice, and I float along and I see this and I stop there and let's go over there, and I meet someone who does this and that and the other. I just love that. That's where I kind of live. And
Eddie, what's happening when you get off the treadmill? Are you doing a gig as well?
Yeah, so I stop, 6.5 hours at the moment it usually is. I stop that, and then half an hour later I'm on stage doing a 1 hour comedy gig. And now they're not brilliant comedy gigs, they're not brilliant. Bizarrely, I've done 2 in German because I ran through Vienna, a virtual marathon for Vienna and a virtual one for Ausgezeichnet, yeah, and for Berlin as well. And the German shows have been slightly better, so I don't know than the English shows, because I knew I'm doing my most recent show and I know where I'm going, and I practice the show. Whereas the English one, I'm sort of saying, I'll get my old material and I'll link it together in some sort of shape, and I haven't really got the form down yet. And so...
Does the fatigue get to you? Have you forgotten things?
Yes, I've fallen asleep several times in a line, in the middle of a line, standing up. I'll go and I'll come back, particularly towards the end of the hour. So that is slightly worrying.
It's quite a lot to take on, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
With the marathons every day and the gig and things, it's just amazing, really.
Yeah, it's a little bit weird, but I thought I should do that. Going to up the bar, and it's actually Sarah's idea of me doing the extra gig, and but yeah, and I do the French one on this Thursday, the 28th. People can go to eddieizard.com and buy tickets, so they can watch the show in French. So it's because I'm reaching out around the world, as opposed to. I understand that some people say, no, we're not really into the rest of the world, we just got to think about us. But I'm always thinking about, I want to think about everyone, because I think if the world is an organism, if it is a living, breathing planet, the only way it works is that we all have a fair chance in life. So that's what the idea behind Make Humanity Great Again is.
Eddie, why running? Why not swimming? Or
could be swimming. Have you tried swimming? Have you tried it?
Yeah, I've tried swimming, but that's horrific.
Well, exactly. There you go. You said it in one. Well, the thing is, David Walliams did amazing swims, but your face is in the water half the time, and the other half the time you've got that view, which is just only slightly out of the water. If you stop, you're treading water, and there's not much to do. There's no cats to talk to, or dogs, or people, or you can't run past a pub. If you're running, you're out. Anywhere in the world, interact. I was in South Africa. I met kids in a taxi, and they said, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm running for Madiba," and they went, "Hey," and I just waved at them, and that was beautiful. I saw some real rural people out there. Their kids looking really quite wild, and you get the pleasure of seeing that. But I'm not seeing the fish. If I was swimming underwater, maybe. Doing a big swim, you might see lots of fish, but I don't think so, because it'd be quite dark down there. So running is elemental, and it's primal, and it's what we used to do. Cycling can be really hard, Tour de France, but if you're just me doing it, an average person, the straight and narrow looks pretty easy. You don't have to go that fast, and the downhill looks easy peasy. The uphill's a little bit difficult, but running up, down, straight, whatever it is you've got to get your body there. So
I mean, are you on an incline? How's the settings working on this treadmill?
No,
Is it totally flat or what?
it's flat. I just make it flat. I do the incline just if I want to change it up a bit, because all the big marathons in the world, the big six, are flat. So once I heard that, I thought, yeah, I'm like the big marathon. I like the idea of that, because I could be going up Everest, couldn't I? I could make it as steep as I wanted to, and then I'd be insane, and it would take me 7 years to do one marathon. So
Might need some additional naps.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask Eddie. So you're running through many cities. Obviously, everything about the gigs and the cities that you're running in virtually, of course, and everything you do really embody with the causes. It's all about making humanity great again, which sounds very familiar, but catchy. I suppose the point is, do you have a favourite of those cities? It's horrible to ask you to choose, but we always ask our guests like their top 3 city marathons.
Well, Rob,
you'd like to run a marathon.
you may know that I want to be a politician, and I'm going into politics. So I think all of them are my favourite, Rob. All of them. And there you go. There's a very
No, top 3. Gun to your head.
Okay, top 3 are all of them, I think, Simon. No. Well, no, I have associations. I've done a lot of gigs in Paris. I've done a lot of gigs in Berlin. Those two mean a lot to me, but it's slightly for different reasons. It's not necessarily for the running. But depending on who I met, in Bucharest, I was in a wonderful park. It was covered in snow. That was just a wonderful memory for me. So I remember that, but I didn't really get to know everyone in Bucharest. And so if I judge the city, it'll really be what my experience was in those 6 hours of running, 6 or 7 hours of running. And that's a kind of an odd way to put it. But the cities that I kind of love in the world, Paris, because of Paris, and because I've spent so much time there doing gigs in French, and Berlin, and New York, and London always.
Global cities.
But Edinburgh, I've done a lot of relationships with Edinburgh. Glasgow, great relationship with Glasgow. But I haven't actually run a marathon in and around Glasgow. So I look at it in a slightly different way. I know, Simon, that's not the answer you wanted, but that's all you're going to get from me. So.
I saw you were running Rome, and I got very, very excited.
Oh, yes.
I speak very poorly, but I know you're such a talented multilingualist. I don't know if you speak Italian, but
No.
you must do the Rome Marathon. I implore you. It's incredible.
Well, I, as you know, I did my own one 11 months ago, but I just ran up and down the Tiber mainly because it was warmer down there. But my friend Francesco De Carlo, he wants me to come down. I could do it in English, and I'll do Italian encore. I'll phonetically translate the end of it. But I'd like to learn Italian, but I've got Spanish, Arabic, and Russian to get through first. And
with Spanish, you're halfway there. So if you start with that, then it just rolls. I'm
there's
sure.
a queue.
As someone who speaks very few languages.
Well, yes, no. So Rome is just a beautiful city because I shot Ocean's 12 there. I was there for 2 weeks shooting the film Ocean's 12. So the Place del Popolo, next to Place del Popolo is the Hotel de Russie, and I was on the top floor of the Hotel de Russie with George Clooney and Brad Pitt. And
Who's your favourite Ocean?
Who's my favourite character?
Yeah.
Well, I think you'll know the answer, Simon. It's all of them, really. It's really all of them.
Oh, this is really going to wind me up.
The Hotel Popolo, being non-political, is my favourite spot in the whole of Rome. But I have to mention that on the Finnish Straight, if you do get to do the Rome Marathons, you circle the Colosseum and see the sun setting.
Oh, wow.
You're paced like yourself and myself, Eddie. So Simon would finish at lunch.
Okay, I'm going to go back to Simon's question. George Clooney really is like, George seems like he is. He is like he seems. That's the great thing about George. He's kind of exactly the same. So he seems like a genial guy, and he is. And he, just generous. And annoyingly, he beat me at table football, and I'm pretty damn good at table football. So when we had the game on the roof of the Drusy Hotel, I thought, I'm going to beat George Clooney here. And he beat me 10-9, I think. And it was really annoying. So a rematch is owed. How could he beat all of that George Clooney and beat me at table football? That's not wrong. But he was just he's a very decent guy. So, but everyone, I just had an amazing 2 weeks. But I was the junior. I was only in 2 scenes. They were all doing the whole thing. They'd already done a film. So but they welcomed me in very nicely.
I must say, it's an amazing casting. There's just so many faces in it.
Yeah. The fact there's 11. I mean, it came from Frank Sinatra, and he did the original film. and he could get all his mates in it, and then they redid it with George, and I was in my bedroom up the Harrow Road in Northwest 10 in London when I got Jerry Weintraub, the producer, going, Eddie, you want to come down to Rome? They're doing Ocean's 12. He did this character, Steven Soderbergh. Yeah, okay, I'll check my diary. Yeah, I seem to be free for the rest of my life. All right, so, yeah, whenever you want me, Jay. They said, here's George, talk to George. So he put George Clooney on the line, so, yeah, George, so I'm chatting with George Clooney. And, yeah, come down, Eddie, it's gonna be great. All right, George, I'll be there, don't worry. Yeah, just they were very generous and welcoming and inclusive, so, yeah, that was just
Eddie,
a great time.
Back to running in multiple days.
Yes, enough of that stuff.
Yeah, the name shouting and all that. A lot of our listeners will be looking at running multiple days, predominantly marathons. There's a few 10 in 10s coming up, hopefully still on the calendar for this year. Even postponed 20 in 20s. Even talk about, help me out here, Rob. I think there's you can do 2 marathons a day for 10 days.
10 days straight.
So
yeah.
20 marathons in 10 days. What tips would you give yourself for anyone trying to attempt multi-day back-to-back running?
Well, the main one is listen to your body. If your body starts going out, you've got to slow down and work on it. Use your hands on it, walk it out, change the way you're running, the gait of what you're running. You've just got to listen to the body, otherwise you'll break it. If you're doing that, you're probably pretty experienced anyway. I doubt anyone will just jump.
How many pairs of shoes you got? You rotate them? You just wear one pair?
I'm on the treadmill at the moment. We went through a few, but I was trying to get the right one because the treadmill is kind of unforgiving on certain types of shoe. But this one, the one I'm on, I haven't checked them recently. I think I'm gonna make it to the end on this one. But yeah, be prepared to change your shoes and also adjust your shoes. So in your training for it, you'll find out a whole lot of things. But they're not doing it on treadmills, are they? They're doing it outside.
No.
Mostly outside, I think, yeah.
Yeah. So that's a different gig. Yes. Change it, double socks. They know about that. A size of shoes that's one size bigger than what your normal size is. They probably know that one as well.
Well, your feet swell and you start to lose toenails, correct?
Yes,
I believe
yes.
you said something about that earlier. One thing I did want to suggest that is, it was a bit strange. I saw you started, I think, 7.5 kilometres per hour, and you've actually ramped up the speed. Is that because when you get back in on the multi-day thing, and I found this over 10 days, so goodness knows what it's like for 25, you feel like you have to kind of get yesterday's lead out of your body, and then you can go again and speed up? Is that how you're working it?
No, if I'm talking to you guys, because I know you, Rob, I feel relaxed, so I can get in this conversation. I don't have to think what question is next, and you guys also asking me questions. So I thought I can feel I'm going along. I get into this kind of gait where my arms go back, and if I feel that happening, then I'll just edge it up. I got the control right here. I'll just knock it up by 1 or 2 or 3, 0.1 or 2 or 3 of a kilometre per hour, and then while I'm chatting, I've gone further while I'm chatting and not thinking about it. That's the trick.
And what about sleep, Eddie, and food?
Food. Well, we start with. What do I start with? I tend to have some mackerel or kippers in the morning, or bacon and egg and a bagel. That seems to be the start of the day. This is a range for me between.
Sound.
Yeah, between my nutritionist and my physio Tim, and have that. Then I have porridge and some blueberries an hour before I run, which I'm now changing over to granola because my brain has got this rejecting the
This is so much more regimented than what Rob and I did. I mean, it's just...
Oh no, hang on, a bacon bagel every single day, Simon, running or not. Although, Eddie, I must say, since our last conversation, you have inspired me, although I was already a runner, to just commit to 10 miles a day for the month. I know it's not quite a marathon.
Right. No, that's
we're trying it.
But the food is this is the most regimented and looked at, and Tim is sort of Olympic level physio, and as is Jordan, the nutritionist. So I'm adjusting, I'm trying things out, adjusting things to whatever suits me. And then after I have to finish this, have a recovery shake, which I think is proteins and some carb, I do a gig for an hour. So about an hour and a half after I finish running, I will eat a substantial carbs and protein meal, and then a pint of soy milk or milk for the protein in that, for the liquid protein in that, which is for hydration and protein. So,
Is there any of this you're not going to miss in terms of the diet-wise?
that I will miss or will not miss.
Will not miss. So like when I was doing the multiple day stuff, I was sick to death of Lucozade, for example.
Oh right. No, they are sponsoring, but these have kept me going. I quite like these hyperhydretics, and they've got 4 different flavors, and I haven't got bored of them, so that's good. The porridge, yes, the porridge is I'm gonna have to refine porridge. That goes away. All the rest of it's okay. But porridge has had its day with me. I'm not sure how I'm gonna get it back, because it's got a bit of a locked-in image. And it's sort of, when I'm putting it in, it's sort of, my brain is saying, let's just force this out again. I'm going, okay, this is not good.
Well, one thing I didn't hear in the routine, Eddie, that I'm a huge fan of is bubble baths. They have no place, no nice warm baths, scented candles. That was every day for me when I did 10.
Oh, really?
No?
No, I used to do the cold baths, the freezing cold baths, and then physio Tim again, he's very top level, he talks to top level people, and even though people disagree with it, it's come down to, there seems to be a 2% difference between an ice cold bath and a hot bath, so I thought hot bath is better. But I'm using showers, so I don't actually get a bath. I haven't had a bath since we started.
Yeah, quite right.
I'm only in showers, I'm afraid. And that's how that's working. But I do an ice bath for my feet for 5 minutes.
And the sleep, Eddie, are you sleeping well or not? Or
Medium rare. I was taking a homeopathic sleeping pill because I was waking up every hour, and then I changed it to a different one on advice of my doctor, sports doctor, Dr. Gary, and that made me kind of drowsy after about 3 days of taking it. So I didn't take one last night, and I had a pretty good sleep last night with nothing. So we shall see. I might have to do half a tablet or something, just slice it with a big knife and see what the perfect dose is.
On the fatigue side, Eddie, something you said earlier really caught my ears. The body gets stronger as you get more exhausted. I've written that down as a quote in my hand.
Yeah.
Can you explain what you mean by that?
Well, I don't think I'd say it gets stronger. You get more exhausted, but you get stronger. That's the thing. So, of course, if you're doing marathon after marathon, you exhaustion upon exhaustion upon exhaustion. But there's something in the lockstep. There's something in between the brain and the body that says, we are a machine. We know how to do this. You've done it before. You've got about 6, 7 marathons left, and you've got 6 or 7 more gigs. Just go for it. Well, don't go for it, but hang in there, and you'll get through it. And then on this day of next week, I will still be having my extended brunch, which is going to last about 3 hours, I think. And I'm going to look forward to that a lot.
I mean, is it getting easier as the days go on, Eddie, or tougher now?
I think it is. The exhaustion is more, but the strength in the body and the realization, especially the last 2 hours. When I get to the last 2 hours, that used to be really at the beginning of the challenge. In the first 10, the last 2 hours are bloody murder. But now the last 2 hours are going, okay, we've got a rhythm going. It's this rhythm. If I get the rhythm going, then I can make it. And some days, I had tummy troubles 2 days ago, going to the loo all the time. I had to take some Imodium, and that kind of sorted it out, but it took ages, and I was stopping so often that I got way behind, and I had to run like crazy at the end to try and get it up. Otherwise, you have to go and do the gig. One day, I did stop, go and do the gig, and came back and carried on running. So that's not much fun.
Wow. You don't want to fall asleep on a treadmill. I have actually sort of had a micro sleep on a treadmill, and it's not great.
You did what on the treadmill?
Had a micro sleep. I was very tired, and I was running in a dark room. So
Was that lockdown 1, Rob?
It was lockdown 1. Yes, I was stuck inside, and that's why I'm just so admiring this. Doing 1 or 2 was bad enough, Eddie. I'm just in awe.
Well, other people, as you know, other people have done more. Other people have done longer. Other people have done different. I just do what I can. And
Eddie, and on that, does increasing the distance at all interest you? Like, I mean, Rob and I have done a handful of 100-milers, for example. Is that something you might be looking at doing in the future, or are you?
Well, vaguely. I did do a double marathon at the end of South Africa.
Yeah.
So that was, what was that, 2 marathons, 56, 52, 50.
Yeah, you only have to do 4 marathons, it's fine.
Yeah, 54. I did 90k in the end, so I did a comrades equivalent.
Yeah.
And as a salute to comrades and Nelson Mandela, and got that done. I'm not hugely thirsting after it, but the Marathon des Sables, the Marathon of the Sands, or the Marathons of the Sands, that intrigues me, as I was born in Yemen, in Aden, in the south coast, in Aden there, and it's a desert country, and so it'd be quite interesting to see how I would fare. Well, no, it wouldn't be see how I'd fare. I'd just get through it, I think, and but as a salute to the land of my birth, that would be intriguing to do, but not now. I'm not considering anything at the moment. I just want to stop this because there's the love of running, but I love the stopping. The stopping is fantastic. I could stop for England. I think I could be in the England national stopping team. The UK not doing anything to.
But the stopping thing though, Eddie, I mean, is the buzz still there? Do you still get the endorphins of a marathon distance nowadays, or because you're so used to it, has that diminished?
I get endorphins, Simon. Endorphins. I prefer to call them endorphins because I think the kids would love to have endorphin, natural drugs they're called. Well, at times I do. If I slow it down, what if I slow it down? If I do 7, say, then this is very grabbable. So if I take my speed right down to this, then it just feels great, and I can do it sideways. Actually, I shouldn't do that because the toe just says, don't do that. I'm going to do something weird if you do that. But, if I was outdoors, this kind of speed, you can say, hi there, hello, how are you? Chat to people, is that your dog? And, you can just interact. The faster it gets, the harder it is to do that, and the harder it is to talk or think or whatever. So, yes, there is definitely something in it. I mean, I first got the real kick of running again, because as a kid, I was quite a runabout kid. When my trainer in Los Angeles, who lived up in Malibu, which is quite an area of where people get big houses, but anyway, she lived in a reasonable house up there. She was a trainer, and there was the University of Malibu, it might be called. I'm not sure what the name of the university is. They had a running track, anyone could use it, and she got me to run 70%. She said, just do a run up that track. Hadn't done that since I was 11, 12, and that was something. I remember thinking, whoa, that took me back there. That took me back, and it also wasn't that hard. If you run not a full pelt, but just for 100 meters, it's over quite quick, and then you can just look at the track, and that feels quite nice. So I remember that's the first time I thought, yeah, there's something in this. I got to go and reclaim that. So I like it when I get that feeling, but it sort of comes and goes, because this is now part of my match fit for life regime. I want to be match fit for life, and I'm looking at my sort of face in the mirror, and I'm looking slightly more, everything's looking leaner and tauter, because I carry a lot of weight under my chin, and I look at myself and say, all I need to do is 24 marathons, and I look quite good. Not fantastic.
That's exactly what my thought process was for this. Like, I never want to lose this level of fitness.
Right, yeah.
So I just keep going and going and going.
Yeah,
and I won't stop until I get injured or my legs don't work anymore.
Well, yeah, I'm going to do that, but what I find is slightly annoying, it takes me 24 marathons from a fairly fit situation to get looking a little bit better. It seems that I think my body is designed for glaciation periods. Rob, yours is as well. Simon, yours isn't. I think yours is designed for something.
Certainly glacial or tectonic,
yeah.
Yes.
We are designed for glaciation periods when there was nothing to eat, and we would look at a lettuce leaf or maybe some leaves on a tree. We'd eat leaves from a tree, and we'd put on pounds because we were those kind of people. And now, in this world, it's not so good. But we're designed for, I'm pretty sure we're designed for that. It makes sense. And so we're actually supposed to use these bodies quite hard, and then it gives you something back. That's the weird thing. You use it hard, and it gives you health back. That's something I didn't realise.
So I only have to look at leaves and I put on a stone, Eddie.
There you
But
go.
I must say you are looking fantastic for somebody that's run 25 marathons in a row almost. So if you don't mind me saying, I was going to ask Eddie, you mentioned, I think, so obviously it's taken you this many to get into the taller, leaner version of Eddie, but
Yeah.
you are going to carry on running, I understand, a marathon every fortnight and then a half marathon in between after this. Is that to tick over? I mean, you're such a strong, determined woman in everyone's eyes right now, doing such an amazing feat. What is next? What could possibly be next after such a huge thing?
Nothing on my horizon. There's nothing planned. But I that's what I was doing beforehand. But I learned that from a couple of people from the 100 Marathon Club, who were working on the food and drink stations at the 2012 Olympics. And they were in their 60s, 50s, 60s, 70s, I'm not sure their ages. But I looked at them and said, I was ambassador for the volunteers, for the games makers. And I was talking to them and I said, can I meet people and thank them for working on the Olympics? So I met these people and said, now how come you're working on the fruits and drink stations for the marathon? They said, well, we're members of the 100 Marathon Club. And is that true? That's always, well, I mean, that's with the UK Olympics, and obviously if the Olympics is someone else, it'll be different people. But so I said, oh, right, you all done over 100? And they said, yes, and it was 300, it was 200, it was 400 plus. And I said, so what do you do for training? And they simply said, we run a marathon a week. That's it. I said, anything else? No, just a marathon a week. And I don't know if everyone does that or anyone, or is that just those two people I was talking to, but it sounded good to me and they looked good. They were senior citizens, but they looked good. You know,
that's pretty much the club in a nutshell, really, and then just the level of illness, really, as it goes up the chain, Eddie, to be honest.
Yeah, I love a marathon a week, boom. So I am sort of marathon every other week, half marathon every other week. So that's where I am. I'm trying to get to a marathon a week, but that would be, you know, as a herald for the marathon 100 plus club, which I'm not in and can't be in, but that's cool. That's cool.
I'm sure you'll manage to do a marathon a week after this. This seems like solid training for that effort.
Well, I'm not going to go straight back to the. I'll let myself feel my way.
After your brunch.
Actually, no, that's not true. I've got a job of work to do in 2 weeks, so I will. I will be out there running. I bet you day 2, I'll be out there training. So Monday will be off this week. Monday next week will be off. Tuesday, I'll go out. I'll do some sprints, and then maybe I'll do a 5K. That's what I'll do on the Tuesday. Then we'll see.
Do you keep a like so in between the marathons and half marathons? Do you keep like a routine? Do your trainers like have you on a schedule? Do you do like variations of training on the track? And it sounds like you actually have a bit of a regimen here, Eddie. So I'm thinking we're not so alike.
No, I don't have a regime. My trainer, Martin Yelling, who works with physio Tim Cruz-Drew, I sort of occasionally check in with Martin, so I'm not really, because I never know what I'm getting ready for, and I'm often not getting ready for anything, so I just want to be match fit for life, so I sort of make it up myself, but I talk to Tim, get advice, nutrition, keep an eye on things, know where my weak spots are, and I just want to, as you were saying, Simon, you know, I kind of like the way I'm looking. Let's keep this going, because who wants?
I mean, what was your first marathon like, Eddie? Rob and I have got 2 camps here, basically. You either have run around the football pitch twice, and that's about the extent of your training, or you've gone totally OCD over it, ripped every training plan you can find, and you just picked the hardest day for 17 weeks prior to the run. Which camp are you in? I think I know the answer.
Well, when I ran the UK, I started on a Monday. The first marathon I ever ran was on the Friday. Before
Right,
that.
so you're in the football pitch camp.
Yeah.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, I just ran a marathon on the Friday, tested that I could do it, and then we ran 43 marathons after that. So, but
It's brilliant. I took 5 years off after the first one. Oh, it's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
But
See, Eddie, this is exactly what the podcast is all about.
But it's
people, if I may say, ordinary physically doing extraordinary things.
it's just in your head. It's just in your head. That's it. And as I've said before, I must have said this to you, Rob, coming out as trans back in 1985, it was so toxic, so difficult back then. People who wanted to hate you felt a great freedom to hate you, to shout abuse at you, or to fight you in the streets. These are now hate crimes. And I've had people coming up to me, I've had people coming up to me and saying horrible things, and I say, be very careful, you're doing a hate crime here, you know that? And I've seen them back off and be a bit more wary. So once I went through that, the mental toughness that gives you in coming out when I was 23, everything after that is not that hard. It's not too hard, or not so hard, put it that way.
Yeah, I
Just
reckon
different kinds of courage. Yeah.
everyone's got one in them. I'm convinced everyone's got a marathon in them somewhere.
I can prove that everyone's got one. I have a logic proof. I have these things called logic proofs. And one of my logic proofs is, they say, I can't run a marathon. I said, okay, you've got to imagine a lockdown situation where you're allowed out, but no cars. There's a terrorism thing going on as well. So there's no cars and whatever. And there's someone in your family who needs medicine. That medicine is half a marathon away. It's 21K away, it's 13 miles away. You get it back, they live. You don't, they die. You would do it. And anyone I say it to goes, yeah, you do it. It would not look pretty if someone filmed it. It would look pretty awful. But you'd run, walk, stagger, crawl. You'd get there, you'd get back as fast as you could.
Yeah, sounds like one of Rob's marathons, yeah.
Sounds like my London Marathon, yes indeed.
But the thing is, it's the motivation, isn't it? If you're motivated by an absolute certainty you can save a life or lose a life with the thing, then you'll do it. And because when I came out, I was certain that I should come out, but I didn't have to. So I said to myself, this has to be done. And that's like an artificial emergency. You have to come out now. You're straight, TV, transgender, you fancy women, you could lie about it, you could you marry, have kids, go through life and have this in your brain, or you could tell people about it, express yourself, and maybe that's better. And I thought I should do this, I have to do this, and after that, I found I can create artificial emergencies, like performing in French, German, and Spanish. Not necessary, it's not on the list, but in doing it, beautiful. Beautiful, and the French kids go, wow, if the English kid is doing it in French, I can do it in English. And now French kids are doing English, Russian kids are doing it in English, German kids, Spanish kids, everyone's playing using the English language as a bridging language. Wasn't happening 10 years ago, and it is happening now. So that's how I do it, and that's the marathon running as well. It's an artificial emergency. I create it, it has to be done, doesn't really.
I love that. That's exactly what I've been doing.
Yeah.
With like the 100-miler stuff,
yeah.
Because it's just bonkers, and Rob's all over it as well. You have to have this mental reason for doing this.
Yeah.
The physical thing is not enough.
And it's a choice, and an ultra-marathon runner told me that, running, is it physical, is it mental? And he said, the ultra-marathon runner joke, I don't know if you know this one, I don't know, I told you it, Rob. He said to me, we say it's 90% mental, and the other 10% is in your head, which it means it's 100% mental. It's just it's actually got nothing to do with this. This could be a mess, or this could be finely tuned. And if this thing decides, this thing can drag a mess as far as it wants, 100 miles, 100K, or if this thing isn't working and this thing is finely tuned, you won't get down the end of the road. Because the brain says, I don't want to do this. It's a bit rainy. Whatever.
I'm a walking billboard for running mess, Eddie. Yeah. I'm so with you. And then, sorry if you hadn't seen enough dogs on the Riverside Wall. I thought I'd show you my little doggy. He's jumped up onto my lap. So here's Zico.
Wow.
It's the most celebrated dog I know.
There you go.
That will let him bark, but he wanted to say hello, so yeah.
What I like, and I think you've got medals behind you, Rob. And Simon, have you got medals behind you already? Are those
He's only got a world record behind him.
World record. There, that's what you've got. And I've got next to nothing, but it's in here. It's in here. I got one, I quite like one. But a Blue Peter badge, that's what I wanted. I want to get a Blue Peter badge.
We dish out fridge magnets, Eddie, and beer mats if you want any of those.
Well, no, I can't ask for things from the 100 marathon.
No. This is from our podcast.
Oh, it's
So Eddie,
Podcast.
I remember your shirt size, I believe, and I've already packaged some things up which I'm holding now.
Very good.
We have our branded face mask, a buff if you need something to wick the sweat away, and a shirt if I may send those on to your team. That's okay.
fine, but a Blue Peter badge would be real nice. I don't think with Blue Peter.
I've never earned one of those.
Blue Peter, so, didn't it go away? Hasn't it come back? Is Blue Peter back with us? Anyone know if Blue Peter's on the television? Anyway, I've always wanted one. So
I have no idea, but all our kit is blue. That's as good as I can do today.
That would be nice. That would be nice because, you know, as a trans person, you probably, you know, before, if you think about it, before this time, trans person wouldn't be allowed on Blue Peter, or wouldn't be allowed to be linked to Blue Peter. But now I think people are moving forward. Young kids are trying to work out their sexual identities and so. But you know, the Blue Peter badge was the great thing you could get when I was a kid. So that's what I'll have to lust after then.
Eddie, I just admire and adore your spirit. It's amazing. The courage you've shown in the past and now is absolutely incredible, and it's just so valuable to our listeners. We'll pass on all of the donation information. I myself donated this morning, and I believe it's 70810. You text the words 10 or 20 to donate some money to the causes. And Eddie, if you could just finish and tell us about the causes that you're running for, that would be brilliant.
And I should say, anyone listening around the world, EddieIzzard.com. If you need the numbers, you forget the numbers, EddieIzzard.com. It's got all the information there. You can buy hats with Make Humanity Great Again on, or masks or T-shirts, and the profits go to charity, and tickets for the show tonight. Every night at 7 p.m. I do a stand-up show as well, profits to charity. But this is for 5, we're highlighting 5 charities. There could be more, but so far there's 5 that we're highlighting, which are Care International, doing care packages all around the world. Covenant House, doing wonderful work based in New York and in 6 other countries, helping young adults get through very tough times who've been in homelessness, drug addiction, and they get them back into society, and we'll fund them to go to university. And we talked to one woman who got a first in psychology, having been homeless and a drug addict on the streets. A fantastic story. Fair Share, based in the UK, helping get food against food wastage, doing stuff like Marcus Rashford has been doing, getting them out to kids and low-income backgrounds so they can have decent food. And then we have neglected tropical diseases, NTDs, which include leprosy and elephantitis that you might have thought was gone from the world, but it's still there. So the Unite to Combat NTDs, that's one of our charities, helping 1.7 billion people around the world. And then, last but not least, Walking with the Wounded, helping UK ex-services people who come out with physical problems, with mental health problems from the forces, or problems with the criminal justice system in the UK, adjusting more to civilian life. And Walking with the Wounded, it links to the National Health Service as well, and they help them, a great charity there. So your money will be shared amongst these charities and maybe others as well.
Well, Eddie, thanks very much for talking to us, giving up your time.
Not at all. Great to talk to you. Thank you for taking my mind off what I'm doing.
Thanks, and good luck for the rest of it. I look forward to watching you fall asleep this evening.
Yes, indeed. I will.
Have a pleasant one, okay?
Cheers.
And the best of luck for the rest of it. We'll see you out there.
Absolutely.
Well done.
Thank you very much. Congrats.
Oh. Okie dokie. I am now going to give myself a bit of a walk. Oh. So that was cool. Now, can I have Sarah back on the screen? And we have 15 minutes. Do we have more things about next week we can talk about?
Yes.
With the run, I don't know if we
Yes, you should. Yes, I only briefly mentioned to everyone about the run, but it was nice. We sort of went out of town and sort of back again on that day.
Yes, anytime we did.
Yeah.
Luxembourg City isn't that sprawling, and so we decided to run from the centre and go out on roads. Now, if anyone has seen, it sounds a bit bonkers, this, but okay, The Great Escape is a big film, which maybe it's a British and American centric, about escaping from a Nazi prison camp, World War II, Stalag 3, which is actually in Poland. And then once they got out, I think it was more Steve McQueen's bit, was over certain roads going up